Good morning. It is what? December 28th, 2028? 2028. December 28th, 2025. It's 11:10. It's almost 11:11. Um, I don't know what they did to me last night. My tongue feels like it's been like clamped together or burned or something. Um, so I have no idea what they did to my tongue between 6 a.m. and 11 because that's what I slept. I have a little bit of a headache because of the altercation I had last night with somebody who is supposedly schizophrenic or has very sensitive um, mental capabilities. I really don't give an F. It's really sad. I really was hoping that other targeted individuals could be part of the community, like we could be a community together. And it's just not in the stars in this lifetime for me and certain ones. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Um, Aside from that, oh my gosh, what do they say when you're the smartest person in the room? That means you're in the wrong room. I've literally been in the wrong room my entire life. It is boring. It's absolutely boring. I'm tired of teaching. I'm tired of helping people. I'm really tired of helping people. I'm really tired of it. For what? So that they can harm me, backstab me, be in a group of multiple weird LGBT females and have me lick their selves like it's just, and then they have HIV and they think that they're going to give me HIV. It's just, how can we protect ourselves? The only way is to ask God to protect us, you know. Um, Again, I don't like not having control. I try to have a lot of control. But when it's you against the world, it's really hard for you to control your surroundings, especially when they destroy the system that we all should rightfully have equal, fair opportunity in. If the system didn't partake in destroying my life, these people would have never touched me. They would have never touched me. The police break ins, I already knew people were breaking in, especially in 2019. I guess this was going on since 2013. After I was programming satellites at the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena. So I guess they were like, "Oh, great, she's in astrophysics and she's doing this and blah blah." So they didn't like that either. I guess I don't know. This is just like, just be playful, have fun letting knowing that people are drugging me and making me naked and then walking me across the street in the middle of the night and recording it. Yeah, let me have playful with this. This is not playful. I always prided myself. Like I literally didn't even wear shorts to the gym, to the beach, or to the gym. I always was in long clothing. I will still continue to only be in long clothing because that's what I feel comfortable in. And yeah, my skin looks worse on video. Um, I don't know. The scar. Well, I think if I use the proper things, the scars would go away because the scars never used to stay like this, and I'm not even really breaking out anymore. You know. But I don't know. I think this three-dimensional world is crap. I still think it's crap. I just think it's sad that we're just pawns. All of us are pawns in a bigger scheme. And it's not fair. It's not right. Humans should not be pawns amongst themselves or anything above. I really don't believe that. I don't believe it's fair. I do believe in equivalent exchange. I think that's the only thing that's keeping me faithful because I am getting a level of equivalent exchange that I can view now. Um, I was looking at the US patents. There's about 3 that have monitoring tools. None of them talk about the monitoring tools of the brain or anything, but again, since we've already been uh, inhaling, exhaling, eating, and drinking uh, nanobots and self-assembling nanotechnology, we already, we have a system inside of our bodies that's already monitoring everything about us. I have always been about evolution of humanity. I do think that we can work hand to hand with technology if it's used properly. I guess since we're all this wonderful experiment to get ugly, corrupt, negative things out of the balance, well, out of the unequal balance that it's in, we are definitely utilizing it to the capacity that we need to. Um, but I definitely do believe that there should be schools, schools on how to take care of ourselves, on a poverty level, on a middle class level. you know, I think all humans should be aware of this. And of course, they're going to make their decision if they believe in the technology or not, which doesn't matter because it's already in their system. They're already being watched. But um, now it makes me wonder because I was like, Putin was good to pull away from, um, close his borders and everything. But now I'm like, now to see the full picture, did he close the borders because he's doing other illegal activity that he doesn't want to know? I mean, I remember what Trump loved Putin. I don't know. And Putin very much, I can tell, is a mafia man. Very strategic, very smart man. I do have a level of respect for him because it comes from the fear of not knowing how extreme his brutality will be if you do not listen. And that is how original leaders, totalitarianists, dictators, control the masses. Oh, let's just kill their children as a warning. Let's see if they do it again. And I understand those are high prices to pay. So people submit. But the submission is over. Nobody should submit to anyone. That's why I like the idea of communism, but that's why there's no crime in China. Well, there is crime, don't get me wrong, but that's why the crime rates are a lot less. That's why they have their fantasies in writing and creativity. Why do you think those Japanese animes are so good? They know exactly what's going on. What are the countries that have the highest spiritual relationships? Oh, which I'm not even going to talk about the Middle East. We're not going to talk about India right now because India is that's a really different story. But let's just talk about China, Japan. I'm not too familiar with the Philippines and Vietnam. I only know the American story of Vietnam, so I'm not going to talk on it. But my interpretation from the limited knowledge that I do have of Asian cultures, specifically pertaining to China and Japan, is that, communism, I thought communism worked, keeping everybody equal. But at the same time, their censorship and the control over, what people are allowed to see, what people aren't allowed to see, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that either. If you care about your civilians or citizens who are keeping your country high in intellectual property, high in agricultural expansion, high in profit, and high in moral compasses, in my opinion, you should celebrate them, not suppress them. And if your people who you have given a beautiful opportunity to grow and expand and be creative and be spiritual and be wise and knowledgeable is going to build you up, when they don't agree with something, that is room for expansion. And that is beautiful. And you should celebrate your citizens, your communities, and your populations for loving their country enough to let them know when they're going astray. That's what I liked about America. I thought that we had committees, Congress, we could go and talk and everything, but we're a capitalist country, so they were bribed to not even listen to us. That needs to end. How are we going to get rid of all of the corruption if we have a democratic society? If we have a democratic society that on is built on I'll walk slowly. If we have a society that is built on corruption, lying, manipulation, and bribery, which is actually the homeless shelter that's here. No, it's okay. I'm gonna walk back the other way.
Okay.
So right now, it's not okay for me to sit in a corner by a heater, and I get it. The door is right there, but